Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Monday, May the 25th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today and hope your Monday's going well. Now, it is Memorial Day, and one of the reasons why I'm dressed up today is our city of High Point, where our church is located, had its High Point Memorial Day observance, and I was asked to pray at that and have the last 5 years straight. And so that's my honor to be able to be a part of that service. And we had one of the High Point City Councilmen speak. He's also a retired Marine, and he spoke, and the boy spoke very eloquently, and it was very moving. And he spoke about having to give 5 of the casualty notifications to families in, I think, the Greensboro, or this area, of soldiers who had perished as in the consequences of war. And so he, again, spoke very well and appreciate his service. And then, of course, he serves as a High Point City Councilman. And then there was the bagpiper, and there was, I think, the old-fashioned like music corps where there's the drum and the fifes and all that playing. And it was part of the Randolph County Honor Guard that was there. So good service. So I was honored to be a part of that and kind of lead in the opening prayer. But all that to say, it is Memorial Day. So we're going to be in Luke chapter 7 today, and I'm going to give you the very abbreviated version of one of the messages I preached yesterday. And this was, I think, the Sunday afternoon service. And Sunday morning it was a different passage. At any rate, Luke 7, and we won't read all of the verses, but we're going to read a portion of this, give you something on this Memorial Day to try to kind of, I guess, be in line with the Memorial Day and all that it means. But today is really the day in which we do our best to remember the fallen soldiers who perished, and as far as the consequences of war are concerned, they perished in the war, and for our freedom, and to extend that freedom, and for God and country and all of that. So today we want to do our part. All right, so we appreciate you that watch, appreciate comments, appreciate acknowledgments. Let me just say before I get into this, if any of you, the listeners, if you have in your extended family, immediate family, friends, anything like that, that you had someone that did die as a consequence of war, then we say, we're grateful for their sacrifice, and we want to say that. I think that'd be very appropriate, of course. All right, so Luke chapter 7. I think we're going to get that. We'll go to verse 2, kind of skip around a little bit, just give you the full context here. It says, "And a certain centurion's servant who was dear unto him was sick and ready to die. And when he heard of Jesus, he sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him that he would come and heal his servant." So we know the centurion is like a Roman officer. He was over 100 men. So, of course, had to be pretty impressive. Maybe had a great history of serving in warfare, whatever it is. But his leadership put him in the position of being over 100 Roman soldiers, okay? So he had heard of Jesus. It didn't say he'd ever met Jesus, but it says he heard of Jesus. And this particular centurion had a servant who was sick, and the Bible says he was ready to die. Notice verse 3. "And when he heard of Jesus, he sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him that he would come and heal his servant. And when they came to Jesus, they besought him instantly, saying that he was worthy for whom he should do this." Notice verse 5. This is kind of the center of the message. "For he loveth our nation, and he hath built us a synagogue." Then Jesus went with them, and when he was now not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying unto him, "Lord, trouble not thyself, for I am not worthy that thou shouldest enter under my roof. Wherefore neither thought I myself worthy to come unto thee, but say in a word, and my servant shall be healed." Then we're going to go down here to verse 9. "When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turned him about, and said unto the people that followed him, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And they that were sent, returning to the house, found the servant whole that had been sick." I guess the outstanding part of this message is the fact that this is not a Hebrew person, not a Jew that's beseeching Jesus to heal a servant. It's a Roman officer, as we would say, a centurion. And he says, "I'm not even worthy of you to come to my house. I'm not even worthy to go meet you. But I know if you just say the word, like I say to those who are under me, then it shall be done." And indeed, his servant was healed. But Jesus marveled at the fact. He said, "I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel." So again, here's a Roman, probably grew up around false gods or no religion at all, a man accustomed to having a powerful man, of course, maybe again engaged in war. He's part of the effort there in Israel to keep the order and all of that. But his attitude, the humbleness, and of course the fact that he just had heard of Jesus, and just the faith that he displayed here. But the people around him that knew this centurion said, he's worthy for you to do something for him, Jesus. He says, because he loveth our nation, and he hath built us a synagogue. That's very, very abnormal for a conquering army, a conquering officer even, who has to meet with his men and tell them how to do things, and certainly do it with kind of in the situation of don't show them any weakness. We're the dominating nation here, and these are basically like captives to us. They're under our rule. So here's a man that says, I love this nation. I love the nation of Israel. And he built him a synagogue. Very, very unusual. And of course, Jesus noted his great faith. So I guess I'm saying, if we today could love our churches and love our God and do what we can to extend, to keep the gospel going, and to keep preaching going, and just the work of the church. But he says he loveth our nation. I just want to say, and hopefully I'm saying this for myself as well as you, the listener, I hope we love our nation, because God's given us our nation. And that centurion must have noted something, must have heard somebody say, and maybe gave it even in history, a history of the nation of Israel, probably spoke about God. Somehow that impressed him and moved him to literally give of his own self to build a synagogue, do the best he could to make these people say, well, I love your nation. And it sounds like to me, I'll use the term religion, or the spirituality of the country. He says, I'm going to show you how much I love it by doing something in the sense best he knew how was to build a synagogue. So may we love our nation, the United States of America. May we love the house of God that's within our country, and do what we can to extend that, support it in all the ways that we can. And to thank the Lord on today, some people literally gave their lives for their country, and I believe for God and for the ideals of our country, liberty and freedom. And I think the fact to be able to serve God freely and all of that. So on this Memorial Day, be grateful, thankful to God, and grateful for those who literally gave their lives. Well, we went a little bit long today, but that's okay. And I hope you have a great day, and grateful day, as I say. And then tomorrow we'll be back. Thank you.